On the news tonight, federal governments to reposition medical institutions to global standard. Nigerians urge INEC to move against candidates over campaign of calumny. While on the foreign scene, Ghanaian president sacks minister over corruption allegation. Good evening, and we're glad to have you join us on the major reports. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola. Governor Adegboyega Oyetola of Osun State says his administration would continue to pursue policies and initiatives specifically designed towards improving the standard of living of the people, as well as boosting the economy of the state. Governor Adegboyega Oyetola gave the insight in Osogbo, the state capital, while commissioning the new Omoluabi Holdings Ultra Modern Shopping Complex. Governor's Office correspondent Soya Honorede has more.
The Osun State capital witnessed another milestone infrastructural development as Governor Adegboyega Oyetola commissioned an ultra-modern shopping complex at Old Garage area of the town. Speaking on the 168 lock-up new Omoluabi shopping complex, Governor Oyetola noted that the project is in line with the vision of his administration in empowering people, creating job opportunity, and boosting entrepreneurial skills in the state. The governor disclosed that over 2 billion naira have been injected in various social interventions for the citizenry, as well as infrastructural developments across the state in boosting the economy.
Oriented policy, extending loan facilities to the people, especially women and youth. Collaborating with federal government under partners to provide social investment to people, building the entrepreneurial skills of the youth, and give them military and other devices to start small-scale businesses and give agricultural improvement for farmers to increase employment. So far, we have injected well over 2 billion through Osunlabu Credit Agency to support our businesses, both men and women.
In their separate remarks, the State Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Bola Oyebanji, as well as the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Omoluabi Holdings Company Nigeria Limited, Dr. Tunde Faleye, lauded Governor Oyetola for his immense contribution and unwavering support morally and financially in making the project a reality, adding that the project will go a long way in boosting the economy of the state. High point of the occasion was the official commissioning of the project by Governor Adegboyega Oyetola. Dignitaries at the occasion include the Deputy Governor, Mr. Benedict Alabi, former Deputy Governor, Mrs. Grace Titilayo Laoye Ponle, members of the State Executive Council, members of the State House of Assembly, leadership of the All Progressive Congress from across the state. From the Governor's Office, Soya Honorede reporting.
Nigerians have commended the decision of the Central Bank of Nigeria to redesign some of the Naira notes, saying it is coming at the right time. Those who spoke with Osbc News in separate interviews maintained that the decision has exposed the folly and futility of penchant for hoarding the Naira by the people. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga reports.
Holding of Naira notes outside banking system, the Central Bank of Nigeria is set to introduce the newly redesigned Naira note for 200 Naira, 500 and 1,000 Naira. According to the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, who listed numerous challenges before the old Naira notes, noted that the newly redesigned Naira note will be in circulation from 15th of December this year, adding that the Central Bank will keep accommodating the old Naira notes legally tendered until 31st of January next year. The decision of the CBN has led to rush from some members of the public who have stockpiled the Naira in different places and ending up destroying the country's currency. Reacting to this development while speaking with Osbc News in separate interviews, public affairs analysts including Mr. Godwin Emekefe and Mr. Wahid Lawal, the decision of the Central Bank will erase excessive hoarding and counterfeiting Naira notes, noting that it will also help in curbing the security challenges in the country.
It's good to change the Naira face in order to cause all those who have stockpiled Naira notes in their houses to render it useless and some of this money are stolen. Some of them are illegally, acquired. And so it's not our desire that some of these people should be allowed to spend it. And that is the Nigerian economic focus.
The government policy does not even favor the Nigerian masses. So the anxiety of we don't know what will happen tomorrow cause all this problem for us in Nigeria.
Mr. Lawal, who declared the situation where stolen public funds are allegedly stashed away and later get destroyed, noted that those holding the Naira notes are killing the economy because the currency is the identity of the nation.
We should be able to blame those who are keeping that money, holding that money to the extent of damaging our own currency. Our currency is our face. Whoever defaces our currency defaces our value.
They call on the government to implement people's-friendly policies that will reassure Nigerians of a better future and eliminate the fears of uncertainty among some Nigerians. Oluwa Tobiloba, Odunuga, Osbc News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has transmitted the 2023 statutory budget of the Federal Capital Territory and the Niger Delta Development Commission to the House of Representatives for approval. The President also transmitted to the House the Code of Conduct Bureau, Tribunal, and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria Alteration Bills 2022 for consideration. This is contained in 3 separate letters to the House and read by the Speaker of the House, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, at the resumed plenary in Abuja today. In the letter, President Buhari said the conveyance of the FCT statutory budget, which aligned with the federal government's fiscal development policies, is pursuant to Section 121 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. It added that the FCT 2023 budget proposal prioritizes improvement in healthcare services, job creation, youth empowerment, social welfare services, alongside education, and increased productivity in agriculture in the government's determination to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. The Senate Committee on Works has said that there is no going back on its decision to remove the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria from the 2023 budget. The Senator Adamu Alero-led committee vowed to give the professional body a zero allocation in the 2023 fiscal year. A dispute began when the registrar of current Ademola Bello was asked to justify current expenditures in the year under review. According to Bello, current was allocated 2.4 billion naira for the fiscal year 2022, but 1.2 billion naira of that amount was used to organize its annual conference. He also told the committee members that the personnel cost in the 2023 budget was increased by 200 million naira because Current was planning to have its offices in 36 states of the Federation next year. In response to Aliera's question, Bello said Current remitted 45 million naira to the Federation's account, and upon learning of the poor remittance, lawmakers directed current officials to produce evidence of remittances to the Federation. The House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts has summoned 63 institutions of the federal government for implementing budgets not presented by the President and passed by the National Assembly, leading to illegal spending totaling over 2 trillion naira. Chairman of the committee, Oluwole Oke, has written a letter to the Director General Budget Office of the Federation, Ben Akabueze, who demand evidence of appropriation by the National Assembly. Honorable Oke said President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to transmit budgetary proposal of ministries, departments, and agencies to the National Assembly, while the clerk transmits past budgets to the presidency for implementation. However, President Muhammadu Buhari, while laying the 2023 appropriation bill before a joint session of the National Assembly, slammed committees of the Parliament who were bypassing him and approving budgets for government-owned enterprises without his approval. The federal government has reiterated its determination to restructure re-strategize and reposition all medical institutions in the country in terms of administration and human capital development to meet up with global standards. The Minister of State for Health, Mr. Joseph Ekumakama, disclosed this in Abuja just as President Muhammadu Buhari renewed the appointment of Dr. Mustafa Yaro as Medical Director of the National Air Care Center, Kaduna State, for a second and final term of 4 years. Mr. Joseph Ekumakama, who conveyed the president's approval in separate letters to medical directors, reminded them of the enormous responsibilities ahead and tasked them to consolidate and improve upon their previous achievements to justify the confidence reposed in them. Nigerians have called on the Independent National Electoral Commission to sanction any political party and candidates who engage on campaign of calumny instead of selling their party manifestos to the electorate. This was the views of some Nigerians who spoke with Osbc News against the backdrop of hate speech employed by politicians during campaigns and overeating the polity. Oluchi Amoda has more.
Election campaigns are the means by which candidates and political parties prepare and present their ideas and positions on issues to the voters in the period preceding election day. Contestants use a variety of techniques to reach voters and deliver their messages, including through traditional and new media, public events, written materials, or other means. Ahead of the 2023 general elections, the various political parties in Nigeria and their candidates have been crisscrossing the length and breadth of the country, trying to solicit votes from eligible voters. However, many Nigerians, socio-political organizations, and civil society groups have frowned at the way some politicians and their supporters are moving away from issue-based campaigns and attacking personalities instead. The groups noted that this set of politicians and their spokespersons have left critical issues that have to do with the future of the country unattended to and have continued to dwell on unimportant issues based on ethnic profiling, religion, personality attacks, among others. A politician, Mr. Kunle Oyatomi, said it is unfortunate that the party candidates and their supporters are not really addressing how to solve the numerous challenges confronting the nation, but are rather dwelling on things that could break the country.
A competition, somebody must win. In any competition whatsoever. So you don't just say because you are competing with somebody, then they must stone the fellow.
Speaking in the same vein, a legal practitioner, Mr. Bode Babalola, stated that the time has come for Nigerians to demand for answers from those planning to lead them, just as he called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to regulate the campaign utterances of politicians by ensuring that they stop overheating the polity, which is capable of jeopardizing the success of the elections if left unchecked.
I think the aspect of hate speech is what the INEC must be up and doing about. I listened to some of the campaigns. Tribal jingoism comes in very easily. Each of these candidates, on its own volition, came out to contest. So we must refer to them based on their past, their present, and what we feel they can do.
They advised all the political parties fielding candidates in next year's general elections to sell their candidates to the electorate convincingly and not through campaigns of calumny. Oluchi Amuda, Osbc News.
The National Commissioner and Chairman Security Committee of the Independent National Electoral Commission, retired Major General Madibo Akali, said that the Department of State Services and the Nigerian Army will henceforth provide additional security for the facilities of the electoral umpire nationwide. He disclosed this in Abuja, adding that the move was agreed upon at the emergency meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security following recent attacks on assets belonging to INEC. Retired Major General Modibo Akali said security agencies will also upscale intelligence gathering, sharing, and utilizing the same to stem further sabotage, adding that measures are already taken for the arrest and prosecution of offenders. 10 days after he was declared wanted, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have arrested fleeing Lagos socialite Alhaji Ademola Kazeem over offences bordering on exportation and trafficking of illicit drugs as well as money laundering. The agency had declared the suspect wanted following his failure to honor NDLEA invitation and an order granted by a federal high court in Lagos. The wanted drug kingpin was uncovered as the sponsor of some traffickers arrested by the anti-narcotic agency in their recent attempt to export cocaine to Dubai, UAE, and other destinations outside Nigeria. The search for him, however, paid off when he was successfully taken into custody, where he is currently being interviewed. Osun and Ondo State Amotekun Security Network Commandants, retired Brigadier General Bashir Adewimbi and Chief Adetunji Adeleye, have reiterated their commitment towards keeping criminal elements at bay and ensuring that citizens sleep with their eyes closed during and after the Yuletide season. The commandant gave the assurance in Akure, the Ondo State capital, while flagging off Operation Gbaligbako of the Amotekun Security Network. Governor's Office correspondent Soya Honorade has more.
Head of the Yuletide season, the commandants of Osun and Ondo State Amotekun Security Networks, Brigadier General Bashir Adewimbi, retired, and Chief Adetunji Adeleye had launched a joint operation in ensuring that there is no hidden place for criminal elements across the southwest. Flagging off Operation Gbaligboko in Akure, the Ondo State capital, the Amotekun Security Network commandants of the two states maintained that the joint operation is specifically designed in identifying criminal hideouts, trouble spots, with a view for flushing out the criminals across the two states.
Advise the community to cooperate with us and make sure this time around we achieve another huge success to bring improved security to lives and properties of the people in the southwestern region.
Ensuring that commuters, residents, and visitors throughout this period can enjoy their holidays and they can sleep with their two eyes.
Similar joint operation in 2021 by Osun and Ondo State Amotekun Security Network yielded incredible result, with more than 300 victims of kidnappers rescued, while 80 snatched vehicles were recovered across the two states. Amotekun Security Network was jointly established in 2020 by the governors of Lagos, Oyo, Osun, Ogun, Ondo, and Ekiti states in combating crimes in the southwest region. Sanya Onoide reporting.
Going on a commercial break. Major report continues shortly.
ọ̀gbẹ́ni lálòdé.
jíde lálọ́ sí lọ. ọmọ bó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ jẹ́ rechargeable fan níbi ìpolongo àjọyọ̀ ayọ̀ Glo ni o. èèyàn mi bó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ jẹ́ sewing machine látọwọ́ Glo ni. ṣé fẹ́ máa gbọ́ṣẹ́ Glo?
ẹ wo ẹ̀bùn ńlá tí mo jẹ lọ́wọ́ Glo.
Glo ló ṣe yìí o. ẹ ṣe
ẹ káàbọ̀ sájọ̀dún Glo Festival of Joy testa 611# láti darapọ̀ mọ́ wọn kó o sì kó nínú àwọn ẹ̀bùn yìí ní ti ayẹyẹ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan nílé ayé ọmọ ẹ̀dẹ́yàn. Glo nìkan ló lè ṣe é.
ọ̀gá landlord ẹ̀yin náà wọ́n rí gbẹ̀mí náà débẹ̀ ẹ̀yin náà lọ recharge Glo.
ìfilọ́lẹ̀ Glo Festival of Joy.
Welcome to our sports segment. 1 week from kickoff, the World Cup trophy returned to Qatar. Teams and fans started arriving and safety barriers went up across Doha ahead of one of the most controversial football tournaments ever. Omotayo Adibodo has details of this and more.
The countdown to the World Cup 2022 has begun. The clock is ticking down on the opening match, almost 12 years since Qatar was awarded hosting rights for football's showpiece tournament. On November 20th, the first World Cup to be held in Arab world will kick off with the host nation playing Ecuador. The Federation International Football Association's plea to focus on football has struggled to be heard. However, amid international spotlight on Qatar's treatment of migrant workers, women, and the LGBTQ community, the United States had already arrived in Doha as well as Australia. Qatar is the smallest country to ever host the World Cup, and according to predictions, more than 1 million fans will be in the country to watch the competition. Already, some of the fans have arrived in the country for what promises a great show, albeit with some controversies. Meanwhile, Nigeria will be without Victor Osimhen and Olisa Nda for the upcoming international friendly against Portugal. Osimhen will now miss his second consecutive game for the Super Eagles after failing to feature in the last outing against the Desert Foxes of Algeria. The 23-year-old sustained an injury in Napoli's 3-2 home win against Udinese last weekend. Centre-back Nda has also been ruled out of the Prestige due to injury. The Orlando Pirates of South Africa's defender was hoping to make his first appearance for the Super Eagles since 2022 African Cup of Nations in Cameroon. Head coach Jose Pizarro has already called up Cyril Desas and Chidozie Awazim as a replacement for the duo. In the meantime, Nigeria's World 100-meter hurdle champion and record holder Tobi Amusan has made the 5 finalists of the Women's World Athlete of the Year 2022 award, according to a statement released by the World Athletics. The names of the 5 finalists for Women's World Athlete of the Year were confirmed as the countdown to the World Athletes Award 2022 continues. According to the World Athletics, a record 1.3 million votes were registered by emails and online voting via the World Athletics social media platform. A 3-way voting process to determine the finalists for the 2022 World Athletes of the Year was concluded on the 21st of October, and the winner will be announced on the World Athletics social media platform in early December. Omotayo Adebodun, Osbc News.
And moving on to the foreign scene, Ghana's president Nana Akufo-Addo has fired the country's junior finance minister over corruption allegations. Sarah Omidele has details.
President Nana Akufo-Addo has fired his junior finance minister over corruption allegations. President Akufo-Addo terminated the appointments of the Minister of State of the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Charles Abu Buahen, with immediate effect. The fallout from the expose by well-known investigative journalists comes as the government is under pressure over a faltering economy, and lawmakers earlier pushed Akufo-Addo to fire Finance Minister Kenneth Ofori-Atta. The presidency statement said President Akufo-Addo's decision came after being made aware of the allegations against Buahen in the documentary, which is scheduled to be released today. The president also referred the case to prosecutors for further investigation. Meanwhile, U.S. Central Intelligence Agency Director William Burns was holding talks with his Russian counterparts in Ankara to warn him about the consequences of using nuclear weapons, which Moscow has threatened to deploy in Ukraine. The White House National Security Council said the CIA chief was to deliver a message to Sergei Narishkin, head of Russia's SVR Foreign Intelligence Service, on the consequences of the use of nuclear weapons by Russia and the risk of escalation to strategic stability. It said Burns was not meeting with Narishkin to negotiate anything, as the Ukraine war is in its 9th month and Russia still occupies large swathes of Ukraine territory. The United States has warned for months against Russia's suggestions that it would use tactical nuclear weapons in Ukraine if its own territorial integrity was threatened. Burns was also to raise with the SVR chief the issue of U.S. citizens detained in Russia. Sarah Omidele, Osbc News.
And that ends the major report on Osbc TV. It was edited by Kayode Adebayo. I am Olubumi Ajiboyagola, thanking you for being there.